Natasha.
Debbie, the show. We know you said it with us.
We hope you said it with us. Is it a problem that anyone else that you can see this pillow besides the other pillow behind my back because my back hurts? I'm like, that's probably...
There
Hi,
you go.
welcome to Natasha and Debbie Show, where lumbar support is necessary.
It is important.
It hurts.
And another thing that's important is what we're going to look at today.
Yeah, for sure.
A couple years, I think it's been a year ago or so.
At least 2
years.
maybe 3.
We took a look at the Falklands War, which we didn't know much about.
We didn't know anything about it.
Yeah, let's be honest. We didn't know anything about it. But we did learn about that, and we looked at some other parts about it. Operation Black Buck, I think it was. And we kept hearing the same name come up in that, and that was Simon Weston.
Yeah.
And today we're going to take a look at a video about Simon.
Yeah, thank you to our friend Reese, who's over on Patreon, for sending this to us. We had been looking for a very long time, but it was always just these little short couple-minute clips of something maybe on like the BBC, which heavily copywritten stuff here. And it was just too short and little. We wanted to hear his story. This is a channel called the Veterans Lottery or the Veterans Foundation, I'm not sure which. And they've done a video that just came out and a little while ago. And we're excited to take a look and learn more about Simon's story because we really don't know much other than he was severely burned during the Falklands War, or conflict as some would put it. Before we do that, if you guys don't mind hitting the like button and consider subscribing to the channel, it's always free. We greatly appreciate it. And so, yeah, I mean, I don't really have anything else to say. There is some information here if we want to read this first. We have a little bit of an idea of what we're about to learn about.
Those glasses out.
Do you want me to read it or you got it?
Simon Weston became Britain's most well-known veteran when he returned from the Falklands conflict with life-changing injuries. His remarkable resilience and bravery captured the nation's hearts. I can't wait to hear more about this story and
learn about Simon.
If you're a veteran, thank you for your service.
Thank you.
As always. And let's hear more about Simon Weston.
Can you remember the detail, Simon, of what happened?
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
Yeah, well, it is to me. There's parts I'll share with you and parts I won't, because I don't think anybody needs to hear the gruesome detail. But yeah, I was making my way up to see my best mate, Yorkie, who was asleep on all these cardboard boxes of blood and plasma or whatever. It was the softest place to be. And I thought it would be really funny to drag him off the top of the boxes, see him fall through the air. But I never got there. The last words I heard, it was air raid warning green. It's red, get down, get down. And I looked up and I saw the bomb come across the roadway, went into where I'd left my kit and where my section from the mortars was playing cards. And the bomb just went straight into the engine room and ignited the diesel, which blew out over us. And then the fire and the heat from that detonated the 500-pound bomb. In that split second, we lost 48 men inside the ship.
That poor man. And all the 48.
Horrible. Yes.
And I'm sure, oh, wow. I didn't know that's what happened. I had no idea. No one ever told us, so. Dear God.
I couldn't imagine.
I can't. That's why I paused. Because I'm
surviving that. It's incredible that anyone does.
Wow.
And on the whole day's action, 57 men died.
Simon Weston was serving with the Welsh Guards during the Falklands conflict when he suffered life-changing injuries after his ship, the Sir Galahad, was hit by an Argentine bomb. Simon soon became a household name, and his badly burnt face a symbol of the entire battle.
Oh, man.
His resilience and bravery resonated with the British public, and he has gone on to use his profile to help a number of charitable causes. The recipient of both an OBE and CBE, Simon has recently become an ambassador for the Veterans Foundation. This is his story.
Can you tell me what injuries you suffered, Simon?
I think it's 49% burns.
Oh, man.
And they largely expected me to die at any moment, to be honest with you.
I would think
I remember being taken by helicopter. I remember lying on this table and they were trying to support me verbally, but it just wasn't working. And I went into shock. They knocked me out. The next time I woke up, I was blind, I couldn't see. I was in the red and green life machine. And that's where I was, cold, in a pair of lurid, awful coloured underpants, because I had nothing else left on me. They'd cut everything off or it had been blown off.
Oh, dear God.
There is a photograph of me. Nobody knows it's me, apart from me and my mother. And then they operated. And I remember the anaesthetist, who I'll forever be grateful to, he told Commander Chapman, who operated, he said, "You've got 55 minutes to operate on this chap." Why? He said, "Otherwise this boy won't survive."
Wow.
And I remember a wonderful nurse saying to me, she looked at me, beautiful green eyes and face mask on and everything, and she just said, "Don't worry, boy, I'll be here when you wake up." Still brings a lump to my throat when I say that.
Yeah, it's bringing one to mind too, Simon.
Yeah.
I cannot imagine the hell he has lived with inside his body and his mind.
Right.
With that alone, but then surviving something and losing so many men, comrades, going through this terrifying thing. Did he say what age he was? Did they say what age he was when he was doing this? Because they kept calling him boy.
I don't remember if they did say.
Clearly young, right? But that is just so much to go through. I couldn't think of a more terrifying experience. I just couldn't.
No.
I don't want to. God bless him. God bless him.
Said, "Don't worry, boy. I'll be here when you wake up." Still brings a lump to my throat when I say that. And she was. But it was a trying time. And I went from 18.5 stone fighting fit prop forward to just under 8 stone in that 3.5 weeks.
Oh, jeez.
And then they took me to the hospital at RAF Lynham. And my mother and grandmother were there. And my mother said to my grandmother, she said, "Oh, Mum, look at this poor boy." And that's when I cried out, "Hey, Mum, it's me. At least I'm alive." And she had to be taken away to settle her down. She wasn't expecting to see me so badly injured.
Oh, she didn't know
And
it was
that's
him?
where the story starts. Because up until that point, nobody in Britain, apart from people who did know me, knew who I was.
Do you remember, Simon, the first time you looked in the mirror after you'd been injured?
There were 2 incidents. One was on board the ship. This was while my head was still swollen and everything was swollen. There was lots of scabbing all over my face from the burns, and it was everything I kind of expected it to be.
Really?
But then the next time I saw myself was in hospital, and there was a guy called, we'll just call him Moses, was his nickname. He took it upon himself to show me how distorted everything had become and how scarred and how raised all my scarring was, which sent me into a tailspin, and I never really recovered from that moment. People saw me on TV and I was the jovial person, the tears of a clown, if you like. But in the quiet moments, you started to reflect on what would the world hold? What would I be? And would I ever have those things that everybody hopes they'll have? You know, a family, career. It was a difficult time because all the time then I was looking for improvement when it got worse rather than better, because the more the swelling receded, the more the scars contorted, the worse the features got, and the more in need of plastic surgery I became for my nose, my eyelids, because that just kept getting worse. And that's why I've had so many surgeries, and why I spent around about 7 years in and out of hospital having surgery.
Good Lord.
I started drinking too much because I was scared, I was lonely, there was nobody to turn to.
What happens.
We didn't get any treatment for depression or PTSD. I had treatment for drinking too much because they could tell I was when I was in hospital. But it got to the phase where I didn't know what was next, and I didn't know what I was doing, really.
I just have to pause for a moment because, damn, it's a lot to take in, and I'm trying really hard to hold it together here inside.
You know, it's obvious to see the physical injuries.
Yes.
But those mental, emotional injuries.
Yeah, you don't see that stuff.
No.
And that's what you deal with almost harder, I would say. I was going to say, too, I think now, like, seeing him, he looks remarkably great. I think he looks phenomenal.
He does.
He does. He looks great.
As he said, there was a lot of years of surgery.
7 years, though, of surgery hell.
I couldn't even imagine.
And my family were desperate, and the only people they could turn to was my regiment. And the Welsh Guards were incredible. They were as helpful and as generous as they possibly could be in so many ways. And forever, that cohort of people that were around during my time, I will forever be grateful for.
Tell me how that PTSD manifested itself in you, Simon.
Oh my gosh. PTSD is like a lot of things. I mean, depression is a crushing weight of irrationality. And my PTSD, it took a long time to fully manifest itself, and I could never quite grasp what it was. But it ended up being this black jet screaming overhead with this hooded figure in the cockpit with flaming red demonic eyes. And when that went over, split seconds later in my nightmares, I'd be on fire.
Jeez.
And then I'd be rolling around the bedroom. You know, these are the things that people didn't see when I was appearing on TV on This Morning or the BBC or anything like that. And by then I'd been very fortunate enough to fall in love and get married. But she couldn't deal with it. She didn't know how to handle it.
After struggling with PTSD for 10 years, it was Malcolm Brinkworth, the man behind the TV documentaries that first brought Simon's story to the nation's attention, who suggested making another film. This one would allow Simon to meet Carlos Cachon, the Argentinian pilot responsible for dropping the bomb that
Oh, wow.
What?
caused him his injuries, and take the lives of so many of his colleagues in June 1982.
Are you serious? How would you? Okay.
I don't know how I would handle that.
I wouldn't
I'm
know if
also-
I'd want to.
And I'm also thinking of it in reverse. You know, if
Yeah,
you were
true.
a pilot, I mean, that's your mission. That's
I
what
know.
you're told to do.
I know. I did see a video once, a few years back. It was older, of a Holocaust survivor meeting. Wasn't a Nazi, but like a German soldier that was part of some things, and that was very interesting. Well, okay. I think I'm gonna share this.
Carlos was approached,
Oh boy.
and he had it explained to him, my troubles, my PTSD, and they asked, would you meet Simon? And he said yes. In a heartbeat, he said yes.
Oh,
he
God.
said, the reason I'll meet Simon is because I played a part in his problems. Hopefully I can play a part in his solution. And that to me shows the humanity in him. And I know my meeting Carlos has upset a lot of people, not least of all the families of Welsh Guards who perished. And they see it as an act of disloyalty. But what people need to understand, I was trying to save me. I was dying. I was crumbling inside. And as much as I tried to save people in the fire, which is why I was in there longer than I possibly needed to be,
I didn't know
I
that.
needed to save me now. And I didn't go there with the plan that my mental health would be sorted by this.
Sorry, I just have to stop. I didn't realize that that's partly why he got so badly
Yeah,
injured, is
it's
because he was
also-
trying to save people. What an incredible man and soul. And he's just so much an art. I'm sorry, I'm trying so hard here. He's so articulate and well spoken and just so like human. He's so damn human. Like he is not dodging anything. He's just saying this is the way it is. And you know, he basically gave his body and almost his life to try to help people. And now he's like, you know, you can come at me whenever you want to, but I deserve to be saved too and do what that takes.
Exactly. Whatever it is.
And bless him for that. Because people will go at you for what you're doing for yourself all the damn time, but you can't let them stop you. And he, what a damn hero.
Go there with the plan that my mental health would be sorted by this.
Smart.
I just went there to see if he had life in his eyes. And Carlos proved to be every bit the man I hoped he would be, but I never assumed or even thought or even contemplated at any point that we would become good friends. And if that upsets people, I'm very sorry for that. But I needed to save me.
And you talked there, Simon, about how you needed saving. If you hadn't have met Carlos and you hadn't have gone through that experience, where do you think you'd have ended up?
Really?
I have no idea where I would have ended up. I had responsibilities. There was an awful lot of responsibility put on me. I was the face of the Falklands. Nobody prepared me for that. I had no training. I handled it badly in many ways, but I was just making it up. I was in a very poor mental space.
I don't think he can. I feel bad that he's saying that. Like, I handled it badly. No, you didn't. You were given something you didn't ask for and made to do stuff you weren't asked to do, or, like you said, taught how.
Yeah.
And no one should be. Like, good God. to suffer alone is hard enough, but to suffer in front of everybody else when they don't even pay attention to that or know what you're really suffering from is a whole other freaking thing out there.
I mean, no one would know how to handle that.
Because
No one.
this is too crazy of a thing that happens. And so when something crazy happens to you, you become kind of that way. It's an insane thing, right? So there isn't. Wow.
And suicide was something that I contemplated.
Thank God you didn't do
That's
it.
how dark it got, was it?
Yeah. I'm not going to go into it, but yeah, it was that close. I was that unwell mentally. It got that close. And I'm not ashamed of it. I'm embarrassed that I didn't have the courage to seek help, but I'm not ashamed of the fact that my mental health was so low. When you witness and see some of the things you witness and see, they haunt you. And those friends and those people that you care about, they haunt you.
Simon has dedicated much of his life to helping a number of charitable causes, including the Scar Free Foundation. He's also just become an ambassador for the Veterans Foundation. You've just become an ambassador for the Veterans Foundation, Simon. Tell me what that means to you.
It means a lot to me. Right. It means a lot to me because becoming an ambassador for something that I believe in is hugely important. Being able to promote, help, explain, encourage people to make a difference in the cohort that I value as much, if not more than most, is hugely important. And I really feel it's essential to give something back as well. And to being an ambassador for the Veterans Foundation is massive. And I never consciously went into charity. It was just something I got drawn into. And I was able to use the platform and the profile to advance so many different causes. If that made a difference, even a small difference, then that's wonderful.
Oh, I think it did, Simon.
And that's all I could hope from what had happened. And the devastation to my family and to all the other families who had injured and dead from the Sagala had. If I could continue to progress my life and help people, that's all I could do.
If we can talk specifically, Simon, about the Veterans Foundation and how it's given more than £32 million to over 500 military charities here in the UK. How crucial is that money?
Well, since its inception, the Veterans Foundation has made a massive difference in so many different organisations, and people struggle to raise funds. But if there's an organisation that is solely set up to raise funds just to give it away, that's where the difference is made. And for all those people who started with the Veterans Foundation, buying the lottery ticket, all those people can hold their head up high and say, we made a difference. My message to everybody that plays the Veterans Lottery,
I don't know what that is.
Please continue. Don't stop. Because the work that is required won't. And the funding makes all the difference. Even a small amount can be the difference between whether somebody lives, exists, or dies.
Wow.
That's massive. That is absolutely massive. And there can be nothing better. You know, you all hope to win, but you're not going to break your heart if you don't. When you hear of somebody else walking the street because of the Veterans Foundation and the lottery, you're going to say, yeah, I played in that.
You received the CBE in 2016 for your services to charities, Simon. That must have given you a great sense of pride.
I'm just very fortunate that my life has turned out the way it's turned out. I never once thought that coming back on the plane that I was going to go to Buckingham Palace twice to receive a civilian honour from my Queen. I never once thought that I would get honours from universities. I never once thought that I would be asked to be an ambassador for British and international charities.
You deserve it, sir.
I never once thought that I would be in a position I'm in. But all of that takes hard work, dedication, discipline.
Inspiration.
But it also takes a great deal of good fortune and great support from people.
Do you consider yourself a hero, Simon?
I'm going to say no.
No.
Yeah, humble.
No.
Humble man.
I consider myself very fortunate. It was coined by others that I was the worst injured to come back from the Falklands. So that makes me the most fortunate person to come back from the Falklands, because it could have quite easily been somebody else and me not be here at all.
Well said.
You know, your story may be heroic, but it's not what you think of yourself, and it's certainly, you don't go into anything thinking you're going to come out a hero or be thought of in that way. And I certainly don't. I'm just Simon Weston, dad to 3, father-in-law to 3, and grandfather to 4. That's me.
What about an inspiration then, Simon?
Yeah.
Because your story is inspirational. Would you like to see yourself as somebody who might inspire other people to carry on, even in the face of adversity?
Yeah. I love the idea that my story, my life, even me, is seen as inspiration.
Oh, well, you are, sir.
I didn't
You are.
set out to be these things. They developed through my own personality, my own endeavors, my endurance in life, my persistence. And from that, if people take inspiration, and that's very, very flattering. And I feel hugely honored by that.
You said the first time you looked in the mirror, Simon, that it sent you on a downward spiral. What do you think now when you look in the mirror?
What a stud muffin.
I love his laugh.
But you're comfortable in your skin now.
I like me.
Oh.
I've got a face that's well lived in. It's somebody my wife fell in love with. It's the one that my children know. It's the one that my grandchildren know. And they don't
love
see
this
anything
man.
different.
Super. Simon, thank you so much. It's brilliant.
No,
Thank you.
my pleasure.
Brilliant. Thank you so much.
If you want to help veterans like me, please play the Veterans Lottery.
What an amazing
Yeah.
person, story, and
Wow.
incredible.
Inspirational isn't even the right word. There's not a good enough word for this. So, like I said, he's such a smart, intelligent man. So super in touch with his feelings and able to articulate them out so well to people to really get. Yeah, that was a tough one.
I love how humble he is.
I know. When he said, "I'm just Simon Weston," I'm like, "No, you're not.
Yeah.
You may not have asked for the role of what was put on you, but you have it, and he will be an inspiration for ever, I think."
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on, we came in here knowing nothing about this man. Other than he was
Right.
injured badly in the Falklands War, and now I'm like,
Mhm.
I want to be your friend. I want to talk to you.
Exactly.
You have a beautiful laugh. You are so smart.
Mm-hmm.
I just really felt his humanity come out of that video so strongly. The Veterans Lottery, I mean, I get what it is now, obviously. What a beautiful idea. We don't have anything like that here.
We don't.
Wish we did.
I know. I'm like, where do I give my money to
Yeah.
play this lottery? Or just give to it.
And if you can, please do. If you have, let us know. I think that's amazing. But him being the ambassador for the Veterans Foundation, that is, of course, like, yeah, that's how it should be. If you guys, you know, I hate saying this, hit the like button if you want to. Subscribe if you want. But don't forget Simon, and I'm sure you have a hero too in your own life. Someone, maybe they're not military, maybe there's somebody else that helped you out of a dark time, helped you out of mental health crises of your own, or addiction of your own, anything that could have put you in a place that would have kept you from being here with us right now, being with your family or friends. And if you want to drop their name in the comments, you're a hero. We'd love to see it. You don't have to give a reason or why. You know, that's all that matters.
Again, if you're a veteran, thank you for your service. We appreciate you.
Thank you guys for watching. Like I said, we'll see you on the next episode of the Natasha and Debbie Show. Until then, and as always, please, love like jazz.
Be as strong as Tyson and Simon.
Mm.
Bye.
Bye.